everybody, hello. Sorry it took a while to come on. There was a ruddy grey helicopter just outside the house making an awful lot of racket. But it was kind of cool. Alright, thank you for joining me, those who are here. Now, why is that not? Let me just check this. I want to make sure I am live and everything else. All things going well. It says I'm live. Got one person watching, which is awesome. There we go. Right. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Wow. Tell you what, streaming technology and stuff like that is a bit of a beast, to say the least. But it's a work in progress. You know, it's just a learning curve doing all these things. So I thought I was completely ready, but that helicopter's distracted me so much. I haven't even got my thingy glove. Where's my drawing glove? Sorry, 1 second. That's annoying. Ah, there it is. I was looking for this little thing. This is called a smudge guard, for those who don't know, and I believe it's mainly used for artists to stop them getting pencil marks on your hands, but it's very good for using it on the screen as well. But they make them for the screens too. So yeah. Anyway, welcome. This is ERFDRAGON Art, and today I'm going to be working on the second part of the 2EE project, which you can see on the screen. The examples on screen is the old version that I did for the REDRAW and JAZZA competition from his tabletop time game, and the other version in the background is the one I'm currently working on at the minute, and I'll go into more details about that shortly. Very quick plug. For those who don't know, I've got a t-shirt out on Teespring at the moment. I've got one with the without the writing, but I will put this version on as well, and I do plan to put on some available for t-shirts for kids as well, so look out for that one. There's another video being released. It's coming Tuesday night. I can't remember. I need to get more better at this, but I've got a video coming out on Tuesday evening on my ERFDRAGON Art channel. Sorry, the camera's there. Gotta get used to this. My YouTube, my ERFDRAGON Art YouTube channel, same as the one that you're seeing now, and that'll be at 7:30 UK time on YouTube. Anything else I need to remember? Yeah, I think that's it on the plug side of it. So yeah, so do feel free to join if you do like the stuff that I'm doing. By all means, you know, give us a thumbs up and subscribe so you're aware whenever I'm live or I'm doing a new video. And also, if you want to be notified of anything, just click the old thumb button so that you can be instantly told when something's live or not. And one thing I wanted to ask you, and would love your feedback, is I want to do a 10 minute, 10 second, a 10 minute, 1 minute, 10 second challenge, but I don't know what to draw. I don't know what subject I should use for that. So would appreciate your ideas on that. So if you do want to join in on that, do let me know. I will try and do a straw poll, but don't count on it just yet. So I'm still getting things worked out. Anyway, so without further ado, let's explain what this is. Okay, so let me go into my Photoshop. Let me turn my headphones up a bit so I'm a bit louder so you can hear me. Okay, so we go back to my Photoshop. Right, so these guys, for anyone that knows the channel Draw with JAZZA, or for that matter Tabletop Time, he came up with a game called the Rogue Star. It was like it was like a tabletop game. You think of it like Dungeons and Dragons, but a futuristic sci-fi type game. And he had a competition in 2015 for creating a poster of all the characters that he had created. So the actual character you're seeing is one of his designs, not my design. But the version you're seeing in the front is the one that I did for that competition. That's the one I specifically did for myself, you know, as part of my entry. And although I only used the top part of the body, there were definitely some things that I weren't happy with on that final piece. But I've grown since then, and I wanted to just really come back to this and redraw some of these characters. So taking him off, let me get rid of him for a moment. Oh, wrong one. Where is he? Lost him. Where's he gone? Oh, there we are, version 1. That's it. Right, this is the one, and then this was the one, after a couple of tries, this is the one that I ended up reworking. and I like the construction of him, the general physique and posture of this guy much better than the previous one. And last week what I was doing was just getting the groundwork done to get this guy at least to a position where he's solid, got a nice pose, and I'm ready to start painting in more detail. And while I was off screen, I'd also fine line some of those details. So I tried to make all the different parts in separate layers a little bit sharper, a little bit cleaner, and I reworked some of the silhouette, because you might notice that the outline work doesn't quite match the silhouette, but there is a reason for that. And when I take off this, you'll hopefully see that the posture will look a little better once I take off the outline. So if I take off the outline, there we go. So now this is the posture, and hopefully you can see that even though you can't see what's happening with that, you can tell that the general sort of pose of the character is just that little bit more solid. Okay, so I'm putting this back on, and I'm going to put it onto overlay mode so that I can just about see what's going on in the background. Because what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to now start excuse me, going in and adding some little bits of detail in the character, but I'm only going to do the I'm just thinking, should I do all the, yeah, I'll just do all the sort of the basic shadows, so we've got the proportions of the character sort of starting to mould and take shape. So we'll start with whatever the first thing is, which is, I believe, is the helmet, which is that bit there, the dome part. Okay, so just get a little brush, and yes, I'm using JAZZA's brushes. Now I'm using a Huey on tablet if anyone's interested, and as I feared, the energy's run out on this thing. I thought that might happen, so I have to get this wire. One day I do want to upgrade to one of those ones where I don't need to charge the thingy, but it's a bit out of my budget at the moment, but you know, anything can happen. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Zoom in. Zoom. Oh dear, the keyboard short's not working. Why is the keyboard shortcut not working? Sorry, my keyboard is playing little games at the minute. Hide that. So let's. Oop. There we go. Oh right, okay. My keyboard is being a bit awkward, so I'm gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way by the looks of it. It is not helpful. Right, so tell you what, that's not going to work. That's going to be a problem. That's going to be really difficult. Right, so let's put a little bit of shading on this. So all I'm going to do right now, let me move this over a bit, is just put some shadow. Let me zoom out just a little bit and just put some shading. Now I'm thinking of having the shadow, the light coming from this side and then the shadow on this side. So that's what I'm going to do on this. So here we go. So a nice big brush to start with. And now this bit here is a bit big because it's going to be on the opposite side of the helmet, so it won't be quite as dark. Actually, you know what, I might also just do the middle to get that in there as well. Say feel free to chat or ask questions while I'm doing this, but my goal, as I say, is just to really try just improve on you know, my painterly skills, my physique skills. Now, all things going well, I should hopefully be doing this a little bit more often. So so you may see me on stream a bit more often than you have done of late, but we'll see what happens. Excuse me 1 second. Oh dear, sneezy sneeze. Right, it's another bit of shading. Now I will say at this point, when it comes to all the shading and stuff like that, I'm still learning the ropes in terms of just blending everything manually. So I will be using the blur tool a lot, but I will eventually, you know, long term I want to kind of get out of using that too much. But I've got so many pieces to do, I just don't want to take too much time, but on these different projects. Okay. Right, so let's use the old blurrer. Now the thing about the blur tool, you just got to use the right level. You don't want it too much, you don't want it too little. See, that's too much, for example. So there's as to how much to put in there. So I feel that's too much as well. To be honest, I think the 10 works quite well actually, because it gives a bit of a metal effect there. So it kind of, in some ways, it might actually enhance the picture a bit. So right, so let's stick with that one, and a quick save. Keeping an eye on chat. Yeah, well at least the helicopter's gone, so that's something. Right, so oops. There we go, it's working now. Right, because I'm going to do some erasing of this as well, but I just want to get the basic colours in there. And we'll do the same level. Okay. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to remove some of the shadow on it. Oops. Zoom in a bit. There we go. Let's make that a bit larger. Because this just helps me to fit where the edges are. Now I'm going to follow that bit in the back completely 100%, because I'm going to add the pieces on later and build it up slowly. But I just want to make sure that the basic shape of this is right. Okay. I can zoom in a little bit more, only because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just try to refine some of these edges as much as I can. It's not going to be 100% smooth, but I just like to have a nice smooth edge where possible. For me, it just looks neater, and it distance it makes it harder to spot if it's a nice straight edge. If there's errors. Alright, let's rotate that a bit. There we go. This one looked alright, so I'll leave that one as is. There we go. So let's zoom out a bit. So if I remove the outline, should start to have a nice dome shape on there. That's not too bad. Okay. Now I think I need some shading on the other side, but I'm going to do it on a different layer so I don't ruin this one. So add a new layer, take the lightest shade and then put it on the other side. This is just to hopefully sell the domed area. And probably a little bit maybe. But I don't want to do quite so dark shading on it. This is just a camera on the side. And I think one more should do it. Nice thinner level. Right, I'm going to get the eraser tool again. Probably not the best way of doing it, but let me zoom in a touch. Actually, I should have blurred it first. Actually, my bad. Let me blur it first. Let me get the blur out. Good. Yeah, I like that. Save and then zoom back in. Oop. Rotate all. Okay, cool. Alright, so that's the first part of the dome head. So now, going to merge these two bits in, and then add another layer of this time for a bit of the opposite, so a bit of the lighter shade. So we need to go the other way. But I want to try to be wary not to make it shiny. I don't want to make it shiny, just make it just enough that it looks what's the word? It doesn't look all like one colour, and you can sort of see what colour the head is. Okay. Now I don't know how many weeks this will take to do, because this is painting, so it does tend, the painting style of things tend to take a little bit longer to do, but you know, I'm going to keep working on it until we get there. Now with this one, I'm going to do it as level 5 or slightly lower level, hopefully. Yeah. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is these bits here, where you've got the side parts of the uniform, I'm going to start working on those now to make those a bit more fitting. In fact, there's that bit there as well, which I hadn't seen. Alright. In fact, let me just do this. Yeah. Forgot about this bit here. Let's get another little blur, but this time I'll do 10. Okay, let's link those three together. Right. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I will add another area, because I want to get some of these edges in on this. So again, go for the, which I think, let's go for the lightest one first. Now, the light's coming from that side, so I need to make sure that it's any kind of shine and it comes from there. Right, so it's always the tricky part, because you have to make sure, figure out how much do you need, how much should you put, how much shouldn't you. Now, to be fair, I put the darker side on. I should have really done that lighter bit, but she should be alright though. Actually, should be alright. Oops, that wasn't the plan. try and get this darker areas. Okay, so I'm going to use the same level blur and get the eraser tool out again. This is where this comes into Freud, because you can see where the blur's gone into place by erasing off the bits that are blurred out. Kind of reveals that edge a little more. Now here I'm going to make it a bit smaller. I don't know why you can see that, but hopefully you can. Oops, that wasn't quite right. There we go. Okay, this is good. This is good. Right, it's got a nice little edge there. So brush it again, but this time I'm going to go a bit lighter. My pen gone. And go the opposite direction. In fact, that bit I can do the whole lot. Yeah. Okay. Good. Another level of lines. Yeah, I think that's all I need to do there. And one more, just for good measure. Especially in this little corner here where it's really catching the light. In fact, the middle there, I think probably the best bit there. Okay, so again, blur. Oops. But we'll do 5% blur this time. Actually, 5% is too much. Let's try 3. 3's better. Okay. Okay, so get my eraser again. Thanks for everybody that's joining me. I hope you're enjoying the stream. If you are, and you want to see more of this, by all means, click on the subscription button. I'd love to have you join me. So you know, and for when I'm live and stuff like that. Right. Okay. Now I think I need to do one more level, which is here, because there's this big gap here. So I'm going to do this one as well. But that's looking quite good. Let me move that a minute. Hide that a moment. So hopefully you can see this nice little edge on the side here. So let me. And we'll do this on another layer, just so that I keep it, so I'm not ruining anything. And then once I'm happy with it, I can add it. Now it looks like I'm going to have to sharpen some of the mask on that, but I'll do that in a minute. So an initial, yeah, let's do the whole mask. Whoops. Let's do this whole bit. I feel like this bit's not quite there yet. Oh, just realised I need to embrace that. I'll do it in a minute. Okay, so a bit further down. reckon that's probably best to do it from the top end. Thing about doing art is not, it's not about whether you can draw or whether you can't draw. It's about how you draw. That's what I'm finding anyway. Because I do hear a lot of people saying I can't draw, I can't draw, and in a sense that's true, but only in the fact that they, what they're when they're saying they can't draw, they're saying they can't draw like that person or whatever. Doesn't mean they can't actually draw. Whoops, let me undo that. Because everybody can actually physically draw. I had a friend once who made a nice birthday card. I've still got it somewhere in my house. They made me a beautiful birthday card, and they were one of those people that said I can't draw, blah. But they did such a good job on the picture. They just basically took the time out to learn how to craft that a particular picture or cartoon character, whatever. It looked amazing on my card, and I was really impressed. For somebody that isn't an artist or that way inclined, because they have their own passion. Everybody has their own passions. For someone that isn't that way inclined, the fact that they were able to do it is pretty impressive, and it just shows that there's no such thing as I can't draw. You can, but I think where the difference is the level of passion that you have for it. If you're passionate about drawing, of course you can draw. Of course you can do it, because that's what it's about. It's more the drive behind it. As I said, I think in a previous video, I will never be a pro football player, for the simple reason is I'm not passionate about football. I'm just not. I'm just simply not passionate about the sport. Other people are, and they're passionate enough that they'll put all their efforts into learning the skills, learning all the tricks and what have you, to be a good football player, and that's perfectly fine. But it is just a passion. Same with singing. Singing is more of a tricky one because you have to hit the right notes and everything else. So there is a level of what's the word I'm looking for? There is a level of accuracy in terms of actually having pitch. But again, it's something you can learn. It's something you can learn. You can learn to sing. You can learn to hold a note. I've taught people who can't dance for toffee to dance. I've been able to do that and learn a whole dance routine, and performed it well. Still can't dance for toffee, but oops. So I need to go the right layer would help. There you go. Yeah, but the guy can't dance for toffee, and he still can't dance for toffee, but he was able to learn a routine. He was able to sorry. I was going to change the mask on that, but I think I need to not do that. Okay. There we go. It's better. That's better. Yeah, but the guy learned a complete routine, and we performed at a few a wedding and a couple of other events. Did a fantastic job. But he'll never be a dancer, not because he doesn't, he can't, but because he doesn't want, he's not passionate enough about it, and that's perfectly okay. It's not a problem at all. My point is that go away. My point is you should never think that you can't draw anything, because you can, but the only thing that makes a difference is your passion for it, and it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Okay, right, that's good. I'm just trying to refine some of these lines a bit. Just so that it's just a little sharper and looks a bit neater, a bit more, and helps sell the mechanical nature of this guy. At least that's the aim, anyway. Smooth some of these edges. Yeah, there we go. Okay, right, one last thing I need to do on this. If I come out a bit. Actually, I think there's more than one thing I need to do, because I'm looking at that, I'm thinking that the top part of the helmet's not quite wide enough. So I'm going to fix that. Oop. Bit more of the thingy. Just feel it's slightly off center. Hopefully that should help. Oop, don't go that far. There we go. And what I also need to do is go into here. Oops, oh, the brush. There we go. Rotate that a little. That's it. Right. There we go. Okay, let me hide that. I also need to erase some of this here. Make that nice and smoother. Alright. Now I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking that this far side, I need to, like I've done with this, is completely erase that as well. Because I feel a little bit like it doesn't quite work with the helmet. Oops. Let me just zoom out a touch. Because I feel like I just need to have a nice edge on it. Now, if I had hindsight, in hindsight, I wish I'd realised this before, but hindsight's a wonderful thing. Come on, there we go. Right. So what I'm going to do, rather than trying to spend ages trying to fix that side bit, I'm going to repaint that bit. So there's this little funky little tool called the lasso tool, which allows me to do this. Zoom in a bit. Make sure I've got nothing of the other edge. Right, increase that bit there. And include that bit. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. Because I can do... actually, I wonder. wonder if I can be clever and just make it bigger without having to repaint it. Think that works. So all I need to do is just let me hide that a minute. So if I delete that now and bring this back, cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just erase a little bit of it so that it's clean, or better yet, actually, just make it a bit bigger. Whoops, wrong one. Wrong one. There we go. Make it a little bit larger. Yeah, that'll do. Because now what I can do is I can actually erase it a bit. There we go. So got a nice clean there. Try and get this so that it feels good. There we go. There we are. Right, now have noticed one little thing here, which is I think I need to fix this a little here. Come on, brush. Sorry. It's being funny again. Let's take that. Okay, so I'm going to put this line on top. So I can try and give it that side edge as well. Just so it matches a bit more. There we are. That's good. Okay, blur again. Make sure it's a number 10. Yep. And erase. I actually don't. I know that it's not with it, but I actually don't like these side buttons. They get in the way sometimes. Okay, right. Okay, so I think the next thing I need to do is try and fix this little bit down here. Not completely satisfied with this. Feels really weird. Let me just check something quickly. a new layer. Because of the way the helmet's designed, it's going to come out a bit more. You know, it's going to be curved on this end. Tell you what, let's colour the whole thing, because I can always add shadow later, or shine on it later. So let's get the next level down. There we go. Another level. And then we'll go with the darkest possible. I want it to into the back there as much as possible. In fact, I forgot to add a bit more on this end. Okay, so let's get the blur going on. And then eraser again. Oops. That's it. There's not enough black on there, which is interesting. Needed to be a bit more darker colours. So let me have a look. Little better. Okay, so I need to do the same on the other side. Now this is where it could get a bit challenging. So how am I going to do this? Right, well I think I'll start with that at least. Just to get the base coat on there. Do you know, I might try and deactivate these buttons on the side. I think they're not as helpful as they could be. Maybe I'll get round to that sometime this week. What I'm doing here is I'm just slowly adding one more shade, but what I'm doing is I'm also trying to keep in mind that some parts of it is going to be more in the sun, in the light. So obviously the further back it is, the less shine there's going to be on it, less visible it's going to be. So this bit's going to be just eking over the edge. That's it. And the last bit There we go. Okay, so blur, here we come. Blah blah blah. Right. Zoom in again. Now this is where it's going to get tough, because I've got to erase the right bits. Okay. Okay. That's that side. Now got to the inner bit. This is so we can get that shine we did earlier on. If I remembered to do this earlier, I wouldn't have to do this way around. We have to just do it on top, but there we go. Right. Okay, so it only needs me to do one little thing left on this bit, which is to fix this little area there. But I need to go into that layer. Very carefully just add it in. Alright. Okay, so I'm now going to merge all of this together and save. Always save your work, folks. Always save your work. Now, am I still live? Because I see the. Oh no, it's still going. It's probably just my computer looking slower than it is. Let me just do a refresh, just to see if it's my Mac being slow or me. Yeah, it's just my Mac. Cool. All right. Okay, so let's zoom out a bit. Right. Now, now the helmet's looking a bit off. So, trying to think what I should do here. Right, I feel like I need to fix that helmet a bit. It feels off, but don't want to do it. Waste time doing it now, because this part's not straight. Alright, I will do that. I'll try and figure it off stream rather than boring you with that part. But what I'll do is I'll try and add some of the detail inside here. So let's go into that. Okay, so in fact, tell you what I'll do. Because if I hide those two bits, that's it, yeah. I should be able to add a bit of shadow in here. So let's start with some shadow in here inside. So why are you not brushing anything? Hello? Sorry, one second. For some reason, there's nothing happening. Okay, you're working now. Okay, that's weird. Hello? Oh. Right, sorry about that. Let's try and figure out why it wasn't working. So inner group, let's make a group. So that's gonna be inner. Oops. Inner dinner. So this is where all the wiring and working is. Still not doing it. Why is it being funny? Oh, hang on. That's why. I'm being silly. Should work now. There you go. Right, let me start that again. Because that's what I was doing wrong. Right, okay, here we go. Should be right now. There we are. So we do the whole lot first. Just got a base coat. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to keep in mind where the shadows coming in. So hopefully you can see, it just shows you that digital is not as easy as as some people try to make out it is. If I was doing it traditionally, I wouldn't have all these issues about what layer I'm on and stuff like that. That's one thing about digital that does make it a lot harder, because you're having to think of what I'm on the right layer or whatever. Control Z and all this kind of stuff, and you can't. I know you can't do that with what you call it, with traditional, but there is definitely, a thing to be said about having, doing things digitally. It does have its negatives as well. It's not all. It's not necessarily easier, if you know what I mean. Okay, why are you picking red? I don't understand that. Why am I getting a red colour for some reason? What? Okay, bear with me a second. I think it's picking out the outline bit. Oops. There we go. Yeah, it was picking the red colour for some reason. That's it. Some of this, what I'm doing today, is quite experimental, trying to work, trying different ways of painting things and making it better. But one thing I want to learn, and trying to get to learn, is to paint things with not less strokes, but just somehow spend a little bit less time putting all the shading and stuff like that on it. And that's definitely a bit of a challenge. 5, 10, 20. Yeah, there we go. I'll get a nice shade in there. Okay. Definitely need to fix that. I'm just really not happy with this front bit. It just feels off, but I'll fix that off afterwards. I'll figure out what to do on that one. Okay, so that's the inner bit. So we'll do mechanics now. So mechanics. So what I want to do here is I want to start adding some of these little bits in. What should I start with? Let's start with this big long line thing here. I think, what colour could we have that? I think we need kind of a metallic-y blue. I think would be a really good colour to start with. In fact, let me change that brush a bit. Oop, will you stop moving the brush? Let me change it to the solid brush. Make it nice and hard edge. There we go. Make this a bit smaller. Oh, really need to deactivate these buttons. I don't use them, so I don't even know why I have them still on. I need to get rid of them. I just found them a bit more awkward than to use. Now, if I had a tablet maybe with one of those side buttons, that might be okay. That I might be able to work a bit better with. But one step at a time. And I'm trying to make sure this is curved to fit the helmet. Okay. Let me zoom in a bit on this. Rotate a little bit. So I can give this a slightly nicer edge. There we go. Come on. Move. Oh. There we go. Right, that's it. Okay. And I think keyboards are not responding quite the way I'd like them, but there you go. There we go. Okay, so now this time, now that I've got that shape, which am I happy with that shape? Does that look alright? Let me remove the outline a second. Yeah, I think the shape could do with a bit more work. I just wanted to fit the helmet that bit better. Come on, respond. There we go. Right, that looks a little better. Rotate. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a little mask on this dude, so that I can start putting some kind of shading on it. So select and mask it. Do 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 do. Okay, there we go. That looks good. So that now has a mask, so now when I add an extra layer, it means I can start putting some additional colours in it. So, but this time we'll go back to the blender brush, good old blender brush, and add some. Right, so I think we need some at the top and some at the bottom. So let's zoom out a little bit. Maybe not that much. The temptation is to zoom too close into these things when you're doing it, but you kind of got to try and avoid doing that, because not most people aren't going to look quite that close into it, and as I'm finding that you can end up spending so much time being overly perfectionist and then not even matter. Kind of feel it's maybe a bit too short, but okay, let's have a look. Now, what level of blur do we need? 20 is too much. 10 feels too much. 5. Oop. 5. 5 is good, but I feel like I need to do a bit more than. Oops. A bit more than that. Okay, so this is just to get the edge. Oops. Again. Ah! Trying to get in one stroke. Dang it. Here we go. Okay, it's not too bad. Okay, so those fine so far. Right, so we need another layer. Brush it again. And this time we're going to go into the shine. Yeah, I like that actually. Look. Cool. Okay, so let's rotate it again. And yeah, let's do that. Oop. Good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to merge these two together. I'm going to zoom in a bit and just do a bit more erasing so that I've got a nice straight and as even as I can line. Rotate again. There we go. Sweet. Cool. So we're getting somewhere now. Starting to take a bit of shape. So I need another layer. Same brush, but this one on the top. So slightly darker. Try and do it nice and wide. Oops. Try and bring it a bit further in. That's it. And let's go down the really dark route. Okay. Did we say 5? We didn't we? Okay. So again, getting the eraser tool out. That didn't quite work the way I wanted. That said though, that slight edge gives it an extra robotic feel. Oops. Oops. Ah! What happened there? That didn't. Why are you playing around? Come on. Sorry, it was not quite going the way I want it to go at the minute. Because I'm trying not to race too much. There we go, that's what I'm looking for. That's better. Okay, so now for J, got a nice little metal edge. Cool. Right. Okay, so let's bring back my outline a second. Let me zoom out a bit. Bring back outline. What's the next part of that? So we've got some sort of hexagon shape on top of that, or inside it. Tell you what, let's do those wires first. These wires on this side. I think just to link it up. Yeah. Group. No, not a group. I want a wires. Right, now I might need my reference now for this one because I need to know what colour they are. So oh, not that one. Where's the... Sorry. There we go, right. So green and a blue. So we'll do a green and a blue. Actually, a green and a red wire, actually. Oh, actually, saying that, there's that circle thing there. Tell you what, let's do that first. Let's do that first, because then I've got the wire going right through it. So... oh, not that one. Where is it? I lost it now. Version 1, there we go. Okay. I'll just call this hex, be easier. Right. Now what I'm thinking is if I choose the same colour, but just give it a slightly different shade or something. And we need the other brush, which is the solid one. 100%. Let's zoom in a bit. I mean, I'll probably need to make these smaller, but we'll see how it goes. But I'll tell you, if I make it square first, because it's easy to make it a square first and then change the shape. So do it about that sort of size, I think. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make it wider than it is on this picture, just so it stands out a little bit more. I will say I've gotten really comfortable with digital painting, not so much drawing part, but certainly the painting side of it. You know, I'm a lot happier, a lot more comfortable with just effectively colouring, using Photoshop or whatever. And it does make a big difference, but I still prefer sketching manually though. Don't think that's going to change. Right. What I'm doing is now I'm just trying to straighten these lines a little bit. Although I'm going to make it into a hexagon, I want to make sure that at least the shape carries. Come on. There we go. Right. In hindsight, what I should have done, I shouldn't have put this edge on until I've got the hexagon shape really. So, slight change of plans here. I think I was a bit too eager there. Okay. Right. Let's see. So that's one. Does that match? That's two. Actually, no, I'll leave it like that actually, because that works. Let's just work this out. Just make that slightly deeper angle. There we go. Right, that looks good. Because what I can do is I can copy it on the bottom one, move it down a bit, move it over a bit. Now I'm going to change that to 50% so I can see where it's at. Yeah, there you go. I've got nice, perfect. That's brilliant. All right. So change it. Shut up. About the bling bling, making all that noise. Right. So I'm going to put this in a group and mask it. So that's bottom. Okay, so we've got the colour, so blender and slightly darker shade. And we need another, oh sorry, I needed a mask, didn't I? Sorry. So let's get a mask on it. There we go. Right, so now I can put some shadow on it. Now the question is, how much shadow should I put on it? That's the challenging part. How far should I go? Right, let's add some blur. Now, because it's underneath, I don't need to worry about doing the eraser thing on this occasion. And we'll do another group, which we'll call top. Right, we'll probably this is probably, once I've done the wires, I'll probably finish it for the day, because I think we've done quite a lot already. So let's do that. So okay, hopefully this isn't going to ruin. Good. I was a bit worried that I was going to cover up the bottom one, but it didn't. Okay, right, so let's get my brush again, and what I'm going to hide the outline for a minute so I can see where I'm going. Alright. Why is that? Huh? That's not right. Why is it doing that? That's not right. Oh, hang on. I wonder if I'm doing... Oh, I think I know what I'm doing wrong. I think I know what I did wrong. Right, it's in the mask. Why is it not... Ah, right, okay. In the mask, but I hadn't. It's in there now. In fact, that should be in the mask as well, I'm guessing. Yeah, there we are. Okay, so a little bit lower. Now I'm going to try and... Now I've got some time this week, so I might try to do different bits of this over the next few days. Over the... as I said, I've got commission work as well, so that does take priority. But where I can, I will definitely... what's the word I'm looking for? I will definitely... Oh, I can't think the word. Try and work on you know, do a few streams of this going forwards, plus some game streams. But I will make sure I'll do the commission. On that note, if anyone does want a commission from me for anything, just drop me a direct message on one of either this one or any of my social medias. Try not to put it in the comments section. I'd rather you send me a direct message. But if you you do want something, let me know. We can certainly discuss. Be great. It'd be awesome. Right. Let's change that to 10. I think that's good. That's a nice blue colour actually. Now what I don't understand is, even though I put the mask on it, it's a very jagged mask, so I'm going to have to just adjust that slightly. Not quite sure why it's doing that. Right, let's just swap that around a bit. Actually, let's do the other. Let me do the other brush. I need this. Do the right brush on this thing. Zoom in a bit. Ooh, it's not too far. Oops. Yeah, I'm working on I say I can't go into too much detail, but I'm working on a commission at the moment, and it's coming on really, really well. I think on this particular one, I think I'm quite close to finishing it. But I've since doing these things, been really, I feel like I've really been growing in terms of just in terms of just my ability, my painting ability, and things like that. And it's been such an a joyous experience, just learning new techniques, learning different ways of painting, and just really getting more confident with painting style, which is brilliant. It makes a huge difference. Okay, right, now the next one I need to do, just to finish this off, is get some light colour. And again, my blender brush. This is why I don't like it when I have to use the wire on this thing. It's much better when you got no wires. It just gets in the way. Okay, colour. Make sure I'm not doing it on a. Am I doing it on the same layer or? Yeah, good. New layer. Good. A bit worried I did it on the wrong layer there. Tell you what, doing metal, I love doing metal pieces. It's so satisfying, especially when you blur it all together and it looks sick. It's metal pieces is just great. Oops. But yeah, but doing all these different pieces of work, whether it's the competition for JAZZA or, as I say, the commissions that I'm doing at the moment, it really has made a difference in terms of just learning, really honing the. If you ever, speaking personally, I've always sort of looked at other people and think, oh, they're so good, I'll never be at that level and la la la. But it just goes to show you've just got to put the time in. If you want to get good, just put the time in. It's the only way to do it. But also at the same time, don't just do, the same. Try and. I'll leave it as that. I think it's good. Try and do. What's the word I'm looking for here? Try and push your boat out. Try and do things that are different, things that you wouldn't normally consider doing. Do a commission. Do a commission for somebody, because you'd be surprised how much you can learn from just doing something. It might be something you completely don't like. You might be asked to draw. Say for example, if someone asked me to do a football piece, I wouldn't particularly want to do a football piece. But if someone asked me and someone wanted me to commission me a couple of guys kicking football around, I'll do it, even though I don't like football. But I will learn from it, and that's really an important aspect of this. Is if you want to get good, you've got to kind of be willing to do other pieces other than your own. Your own. What's the word? I'll try the word here. You've got to be willing to do stuff that you wouldn't normally want to draw. Now, obviously, you can, if someone's asking you to draw something that's against your conscience, that's different. If someone's asking you to do a political piece and you're not particularly political, or a religious piece and you don't really feel it's the right place, that's fine. That's totally understandable, totally acceptable. But you've got to really come out of your comfort zone and do things that you shouldn't, that you need, that's going to change your way of doing things. And see, look, there's another. That's it, brilliant. Sometimes you just got to do things that's outside your comfort zone, because that's how you grow. That is how you learn. Is doing things that you wouldn't usually consider, but you'd be surprised how much you learn from it. And what you can put into your own artwork. You know, that's how it works. That's how it comes together. Oops. See, I wouldn't even be streaming if it weren't for me pushing the boat out and trying to do something different. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't be doing this. Wouldn't be giving this a chance if, you know, I just kept doing the same pictures I always did. And doing this alone is helping me. So I think if, you know, think how much it will help you if you're pushing yourself out there. You know what I mean? Okay. Right. What I'm just doing now is I'm just trying to refine the angles of these things a bit. Oops. Because I'm just trying to make sure this fits better. So I'm just adjusting the shading on these things just slightly. There we go. Right, now what I want to do is try something a little different. Come on, lips tool. Because inside here there is a bit of a circle. Okay, so make a selection. Yeah, okay. And select a mask. Okay, and do the same here. Cool. Now, I'm not quite sure what that black ring is about, but we'll sort that out later. So I need to put something inside there. I wonder what that black ring is. Oh, I see, that's the ellipse. Okay, right, so let's hide that. No, it makes sense. Okay, so what I need to do then is in here, I need to add... Oh, come on. Actually... I think how I'm going to do this. Right, that's one. Two. In fact, I have to change that colour a bit actually. So I'm just trying to think how I'm going to do this bit here. Group. I'll tell you what, let's do this. And then if I move that out of the way. Oops. Don't know what I did there. Hang on. Oh. Undo. That's it. Somehow I was doing it on the wrong layer. Okay. Right, so let's get a nice inner circle bit here. So I'm just going to do this bit, this and some wires, and then I'm going to call it a day for this one. Oops. And you're being slow. Why are you being slow? There we go. Nice smooth circle here. There we go. And I'm going to wand this one as well. Now I know the shape doesn't look too great, but that's fine. Because it's only the inner bit I need to worry about. Inner. There we go. And mask it. Brilliant. Okay, so let's get the blender brush back. Get the colour. And go down. Right. Okay, so put the dark there and teeny bit there. Sorry, my wires keep getting caught on things. It's annoying. Are you actually brushing anything? Doing? I feel like there's not much colour going in there. Oh, there we are. There we are. Sorry, it keeps getting caught on this case thing. Yeah, I think it's... Come on. Sorry, I'm in focus mode, so apologies if I seem a bit offish. There we go, and then put a bit more there. Okay, let's jump this track. Actually, obviously I moved it, so I need to remove that track from the playlist. Doesn't really match what I'm doing. There we go, better. Alright, okay, so here we go. Actually on this. Not so keen on the blur on that. I feel like blur's not I think it's too strong. Five is better. Okay, let's link those. And then let's get the lighter colour in there. This is just to reflect that it's catching the light a bit. There we go. And teensy bit more. Go right. So the last thing we're going to do today is the wires. So zoom out a little. Let's bring back my outline. Now this should be rather interesting. Okay, so here's my wires. So wires is here. Ooh, put it underneath the hex. There we go. Alright. So we want red wire first. So we want a nice bright red wire. I think I need the other brush for that. So here we go. Hard round brush. It's funny how when I do the blender brush it changes it to 6% opacity, but when I prick the other one, click the other ones, it doesn't. It's crazy. Anyway, doesn't matter. Right. Right, so let's make a nice, I'll put it on the bottom actually. Make it the bottom wire. I wonder if I made it too thick. Just make it a bit thinner. Because what I want to do is give it a bit of bendy curve. Oops. Let me zoom in a bit. That's it. Oh, there we go. Oh, suddenly my Photoshop starting to stick art. Alright, so that's, so we'll change that to, well, we'll make that into red wire. Red wire. In fact, before we do anything, to put a wand on it. Oop. Okay, and select and mask. Do. So do feel free to ask questions if you want to know anything, or I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. Obviously, be reasonable with the questions you're asking. Don't be oops. Do be sensible. But yeah, but feel free to ask any questions if you have any. Be more than happy to answer if need be. Okay. Right, so now I can get my blender brush back. Okay. Right, so there we go. So I'm going to go back to my blender. Color. Rotate a bit. And let's make this relatively small. Oops. Why is that making that weird? Oh, I know why, because it's the background. Right, let me remove the outline so I can see it, because it's distracting me a little bit. There we go. It looked like it wasn't doing it right, but it was because the outline was showing through. Okay. This is a bit more challenging because it's a smaller area, so I'm having to put a tiny brush on it to make this really stand out. Doesn't feel like it's doing very much darkness actually. Don't know why. Come on. For some reason it's just not giving me the shadow that I'm looking for, or the shadow. It's making this a little tricky. And I've been silly. Ah, stop. I put too much. I put shade on. It's very silly. Am I too? Did I go too far? How far can I go? Undo. Undo. Ah, you silly boy. Right. Mess that up. Okay. Can't believe I did. Cannot believe I did that. That was just. Ugh. Pet. This is where doing it. What do you call it? Digital becomes a real pain in the neck, because you can't. You know, you got to remember to not paint on the same layer. If you paint on the same layer, it really stuffs you up, and that's exactly what's happening here. Right. Sorry about this, guys. Right. Okay, let's try this again on a different layer. Oh, I can't believe I did that. Cannot believe I did that. What a doofus. Right. Do you know what? I'm going to do a much bigger brush to start with, because I can always. There we go. There we go. On flip, it means that I've done it a bit better. So it has meant that I'm doing this a lot more. It's working better. So it's worked in my favour in the end. YouTube's have got some really good tunes at the minute. And I like the fact they're always adding new ones now. So they're keeping it fresh and real. It's just a shame about the copyright laws that some, you know, especially with the Article 17 now it's called, just makes it much more difficult. Because not every, you know, some people I know do things to, you know, to make money off somebody else, but sometimes it's like it's not always that you're trying to rip somebody else. You just like their tune and it sounds good on your particular video, even if it's just a sample of it. So you're not. I mean I get it. I mean, you know, everyone wants their artwork protected. I get that, or their music protected. I get that. That's, you know, that's totally fine. Always, you know, you have to worry about things like that. You know. Come on. It's being a bit of a pig at the minute. There we go. Okay. I think one is probably, yeah. Just J it a little bit so we've got slightly thicker version. Oh. Okay. And this time we've got the opposite. There we go. All right. Think that will do. Actually, can I get away with one more slightly lighter?